All right, so yeah, you guys can see it's a pretty tall printer, and our spool holder's on the top, so it makes it even taller. And it does take quite a bit of room on the desk. So if you are wanting to get this printer, make sure you got the room for it. So let's start here on the top. We got the spool holder that we installed with these nice little rolly bearing type holders. Our filament detector, which I'm a little confused how that's going to work since the spool sits up here. Anyways, we'll figure that out. So our top frame is plastic, which I'm not crazy about, but it is reinforced, so it is sturdy, and we have this sidewinder imprint in it. So yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. Personally, I think I would have just liked an aluminum frame there, but this type of design, you know, can extend here to house the lead screw with the bearing in there. So yeah, overall looks pretty good. So the side channels are normal aluminum extrusion that are, looks like 2040s. Flipping around, you guys can see the back and the synchronized lead screws with this belt. Very nice to see. Our filament detector wiring there, nicely tucked away, goes down to the channel all the way down and plugs in over there. So we got dual lead screws going all the way up, and they're quite long. So coming down to this frame piece here, I was pretty impressed to see these are actually metal. Looks like aluminum brackets, and yeah, very heavy duty, and quite interesting how to adjust the inner wheel. Our brass bushings here, they have this kind of C-clamp here to keep it from going up and down, and it's the same on both sides. So going down from there, we got couplers and the stepper motors on each side. Looking down at the printer, we can see that they have this really nice, interesting, pretty tough looking cable that connects to the bed. And I like how they routed it inside. And don't forget, guys, that this is actually AC power that's coming from the plug. So yeah, this has to be protected very well. It looks like they did a great job there. We can see our very large wide channel on the Y-axis. This is the in-stop switch for the Y, and it's just like a push button. So the bed is glass, and it's got that perforated kind of texture, which when heats up should stick very well, and then when it cools, it pops right off. Also, it is insulated. You guys can see, very nice. You guys can see the frame there, and we got pretty large twisty knobs with these nice quality springs for adjustment. Looking at the very back, here we have the power input. It is fused with an on and off switch. And right beside that, we have the voltage selection switch, which you definitely want to check before you turn on your printer. So depending on where you live, you'll turn that to 110 or 220. And all the way on this side, we have the manufacturing sticker, which gives us all the details about the printer. And you guys can see that it is a 300 by 300 by 400 millimeter build volume. So flipping back to the front, we got some pretty interesting design here, which we have these nice ribbon cables. So there's one here going up and down, and so there's a distribution box in there, and it goes around next to the channel and then plugs into there, as we talked about earlier when we were putting the upper portion in. And then we got another ribbon cable that runs across and then around to the direct drive extruder. So there's not too much to see here because everything is covered up. We can see the X-axis stepper motor, but if we look at the direct drive assembly, we can see there's quite a few interesting things here. So we have right on top the extruder knob, and this is where we're going to feed in our filament from the top, and it's going to go down into the hot end. So this whole piece here is metal, and there's kind of like a heat sink here, and the fan cools that off, and that's somehow all there together with the heat break. So yeah, we got a junction in here with also our stepper motor inside of there. We got a pretty large axial fan for the parts cooling. You guys can see our heat block there. It is volcano style, so it's vertical instead of sideways, and there is a silicone sock on it. And on this side, you guys can see we have a probe here, and this is for the out of bed leveling. So yeah, very interesting looking direct drive extruder hot end assembly, and very similar to the first X1 model. So going down to the bed, we do have an artillery logo. It does say 110 volts, and the reason for that is because this is an AC bed and it's only made for that voltage. And on this side, we got some caution icons. All right, so going to the front of the printer, we got a nice large artillery logo here. And on the left side, we got the screen. Let's go ahead and peel this off. So it is a smaller screen, which feels a little dated, but you know, that's okay as long as it works as good as it did before. And we also got a little reset button there. And on the top here, the USB port and the micro SD card slot. And our side is pretty clean with some venting. And on our other side, we have some venting and also our connection via USB type B. So yeah, guys, really nice looking printer. And I love the low profile. You guys can see that's very thin for how large this printer is. So it looks very nice.